This is an ultra short video on accountability and corporate governance. It talks about important points and concepts related with corporate governance. In terms of our learning objectives, we would be explaining what is corporate governance, why it is required, what are the different parties involved in corporate governance, and what are the approaches of corporate governance, particularly rule-based and principle-based. And we would also look at the corporate governance system which is applicable in UK, some international corporate governance principles, and the system which is applicable in US, that is Sarbanes-Oxley Act. When a business is small, take example of a grocery shop or a bookstore. So the owner and the one managing is the same. Whereas when the company grows and it has more need of the capital, then the company goes to the public for raising the capital. In that case, the shareholders invest in the company, they buy the share of the company and become the owner. So shareholders might own the company, but they are not the one who are managing the company. Take example of Apple company, who has shareholders spread worldwide. So they are not the one who are managing the company. So what these shareholders do, they elect the board of directors. These are their representatives. So it is the responsibility of the board of directors to act on behalf of shareholders in their best of interest. So shareholders are the principal and the board of directors are the agent. These board of directors, among one of their responsibilities is to hire the CEO who has to operationalize, who has to work under the guidance of board of directors. The board of directors should act as stewards of shareholders. They should act in their best interest, and their interest of the board of directors should be aligned with the interest of organizations. But looking at the accounting scandals which we have, for example, Toshiba, Enron, WorldCom, and so many other examples which we have in our accounting history, this all shows that interest of shareholders may not be aligned with the interest of board of directors. As a result, the corporate governance is required. Corporate governance means how the company is being directed and controlled. So this direction and the control responsibility lies with board of directors. So the board of directors are ultimately accountable to the shareholders. They are accountable for the actions which they are taking. They are accountable for whatever outcomes they are providing and they are producing for the company. So the board actions, whatever actions they are taking, they are subject to law, they are regulations, and most importantly, they will be judged by the shareholders in the general meetings. So if the shareholders don't like the corporate governance, the way the companies are being managed, they might take out their investment and flee to some other company. There are two alternative approaches available to corporate governance. First is a principle-based approach. In principle-based approach, primarily the companies are given a set of principles. They have to either comply with the principles or they have to explain why they have not been complied. So the companies can adapt these principles based upon their particular situation. Whereas in case of rule-based, the companies are given a set of rules and they have to mention that whether they have complied or not complied. So in case of principle-based, you have the choice of either comply or you explain, whereas in rule-based, you comply or whether you have not complied. So these things the companies have to mention. The UK Corporate Governance Code or Common Code uses a principle-based approach where the companies are required to comply with the principles and they have to mention that how these principles have been applied, what action the board has taken, and what are the results of the action taken by the board. All this we are doing to help the investors evaluate the company practices. So the UK Corporate Governance Code basically have 5 focus areas. First is they are focused on how well the board has provided leadership to the company. Second thing is what kind of division of responsibilities has happened or the way responsibilities are divided in the company. Third is what kind of composition, how diverse is the board, what is the composition in terms of directors or independent directors, what kind of succession planning the company has done. And the fourth area is that in terms of internal control, what are the internal control mechanism the company has, what kind of audit committee and what are the roles and responsibilities of this audit committee are there in the company, and how this audit committee or the internal control functions. And lastly, the code is focused on in terms of remuneration. So what kind of remuneration committee the company has, how this committee functions, so how the remuneration of the directors or the CEO is being decided. Is this remuneration fair enough? Is this remuneration good enough for motivating, but it is not so exorbitant? So all these things are taken care in terms of principles of corporate governance. The OECD principles were originally issued in 1999, and since then it has become an international benchmark for corporate governance. Actually, the main purpose of issuing the OECD corporate governance principles is to help policymakers. And in what way they're going to help policymakers? They're going to help policymakers to improve their legal, institutional, and regulatory framework that underpins the corporate governance for, particularly for public traded company. Actually, OECD principles, they provide a lot of guidance, practical suggestions related to corporate governance and its application to stock exchanges, investors, and corporations. In US, the companies are using a corporate governance system which is a rule-based system, and it is driven by Sarbanes-Oxley Act. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act is a direct response after the scandals of WorldCom and Enron. The main purpose of Sarbanes-Oxley Act was to protect shareholders and the general public from any frauds which has happened in the past. And the companies have to comply. In case of Sarbanes-Oxley Act, it focuses on compliance. Remember, it's a rule-based system, so it focuses on compliance, and where the companies have to comply in terms of accuracy of financial statements. They have to comply in the list of disclosures, and they have a particular set of regulations they have to follow if there are any material changes related to their internal control. And they are also required to have they are required to follow a set of rules for assessing the effectiveness of their corporate governance system. So in case the companies don't comply with those rules, so there are fines and imprisonment, or it could be both. So any non-compliance is penalized heavily in case of Sarbanes-Oxley Act. After looking at the important aspects of corporate governance and its frameworks, what you have to do is you have to go to full lecture and revise, and also you are required to prepare for the seminar and the case. Thank you.